Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Ultimate Nightmares run, where we take the characters that are hardest to beat in the new Nightmare mode, as chosen by you, and try to win with them. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Engineer, which is a character I've had many people ask about, and engineering builds in Nightmare are specifically pretty difficult because of their low damage and kind of random damage, making it hard to prioritize dangerous enemies. We're playing specifically in Crash Zone, which I think for the Engineer is way harder than the Abyss. I think Crash Zone in general is harder on Nightmare mode, but for some characters it has a massive difficulty spike compared to the Abyss, and the Engineer is one of them. The fact that all of our structures spawn together in the middle of the map is a pretty severe disadvantage on Crash Zone, because it makes clearing the summons significantly harder. And it just sets you pretty far behind when you're trying to clear a bunch of early enemies. I am going to take the Peaceful Bee. Ratzilla I'll leave in the pool. I think the Ratzilla is maybe going to be fine, and that can be a way to kill summoners and summons later on. But I'm not going to lock it here. I'm going to roll and buy more wrenches. I'm going to focus specifically on just wrenches. If we lose this run, that I might try screwdrivers later on, but for now I really want to have a kind of safe cluster to retreat to and try to use the Engineer's ability as much as possible. The landmines from the screwdrivers could be a good way to clear goobers, but I think that those are too much of a worse weapon for the character in general. And it's going to make it really hard to stay safe, because we just won't have focused damage, which is the important thing when playing on Nightmare. I could take an armor here or some HP, but let's roll. I'm looking for engineering or harvesting. Take the engineering. We'll buy the wrench and then re-roll. Re-roll again, lock a wrench, and we can afford to buy lemonade. And obviously we bought it in that order because we wanted to make sure we had a weapon locked. So the main challenge for this run is going to be Wave 6, Wave 14, and Wave 15, and probably Wave 18 as well. Wave 6 is really scary because both eggs and summoners are really challenging for the Engineer. We just don't have a good way to deal with those enemy types. I'll take the boxing glove. That can actually keep us alive. And we'll pick up the luck here, and then I'll grab some more engineering. We'll buy a wrench, buy a Peaceful Bee. Campfire I might buy later, but I'm not going to lock it. And we'll roll, and we'll buy another wrench. So I've at least leveled my weapons a fair amount. Incendiary Turret is the best turret when you only have one of them. If you have multiple attacking the same target, then it's the worst turret, because the burning doesn't stack. So Incendiary Turret is funny for the Engineer, since all your structures spawn together. You usually don't want more than one or maybe two of them. For other characters, you can often get away with more of them, but for the Engineer specifically, Incendiary Turret is hard to use in multiples. We do at least have the advantage that structures don't cause the enhanced flies to shoot projectiles, so that's good for us. We'll take the landmines. That's perfect. We're very happy with that. I'm going to take 8 harvesting, and that'll get me to 21 next wave. And I will want to build dodge on this character. We already have 4, so I'm going to go ahead and just pick up 6% dodge. Here, I'm going to go to a level 3 and a level 2 wrench. We'll buy the book for 2 more engineering, obviously great. Well, 2.5 more engineering with our increased engineering modifiers. And then we'll ban fresh meat. We're going to be using regeneration over lifesteal on this character. Then we'll level our wrench, and we'll buy landmines. Recycling machine, I really don't tend to like on Nightmare mode. It just takes too long to pay off. So we're going to skip that. So landmines do not obey the Engineer's restriction that makes structures all spawn together in the center of the map. They will spawn wherever, which can be good and bad. It means that we have a little bit more access to damage to clear the summons later on. But obviously it also can break summoners when they're not close to our turrets. and that's going to make it harder to clear the summoners, or the summons. So that can be a real challenge. I could take 3% lifesteal when it shows up like this, but I think I'm just going to reroll. All right, I'll take 9 dodge. I would obviously rather have a lot of armor, but when we get a bunch of dodge like this early, we're going to take it. We'll ban the injection. We'll reroll. I'm going to, again, upgrade my wrench. I will buy coffee, and we'll lock this wrench, of course, as well. Attack speed is still pretty good for this character because it helps with the knockback. I'm going to run over here and manually attack that egg down. Looks like we got a 1 egg spawn on wave 6. You can have 1, 2, or 3 eggs spawn at the beginning of wave 6. And that has a pretty significant I actually don't like how random that is, because it makes a pretty significant difference in terms of how difficult this wave is, depending on how many eggs you get at the beginning. So as long as we don't let a critical mass of... Oh, I pushed the loot alien away from my turrets, but fortunately our laser turret took it down anyways. I'll ban the claw tree here. We'll take the propeller hat. And then I'm not interested in buying more harvesting at this point, so I'm just going to roll. I'll just take an armor. We need armor. I'll pick up a wrench, coffee, and loot worm, and then we'll roll again. Okay, bottom mine is great. A turret, obviously amazing as well. The more structures we have, the better. And these two will both contribute to our blob and help protect us. And then I'm going to roll one more time here. Baby elephant, we can just go ahead and ban. Pearl, I'm leaving in the pool. I'll roll one more time to try to find more wrenches, and we did find another wrench upgrade. Wave 7, similarly with the eggs, is really challenging. I let one hatch there, so I need to run away from it and wait for my turrets to take it down. Fortunately, those 2 eggs spawned on top of each other in range of a laser turret, so that was nice. The enhanced spitters, yet another really dangerous enemy type for this character, because they try to hover just outside of your range. You have to retreat all the way through your turrets in order to drag the spitters into range of them. And so that can make it much harder to actually manage to take them down. And of course, they're incredibly dangerous enemies with their ridiculous damage and multiple really fast-moving projectiles. Thrilled to get some armor there. That's exactly what we wanted. And here I'm just going to take 9 max HP. My max HP was atrocious, so I needed to fix it. Amazing shop for us. We'll start with the bottom mine. That's going to be the biggest increase to our survivability. And I'm going to combine here. That means we're not... we have fewer incendiary turrets. I maybe could have just gone up to a level 4 turret, but I think I wanted to just make sure that we've got a bunch of laser turrets. Laser turrets are typically the most efficient. Dock Moth is kind of hard to use for this character. We'll lock Beanie, though. I need some move speed, and I'm banning Corrupted Shard because we're staying on... we're on Crash Zone, so we want to keep 0 curse for as long as we can. Now, with engineering builds, you don't have full control over that. Loot Worm is great because it means I don't have to run around chasing after trees. Which is a funny thing to say out of context. Typically, you don't have to run around chasing after trees most of the time. But in video games where they randomly spawn in seconds, that can be a thing. So, hoping that the Curse Alien doesn't run into all of our turrets here, I saved up some consumables so that if I took damage at the end of the wave, sadly we did get Curse there. I'll take a tree here, that's good, and then I'm going to roll, pick up some more maximum health. We'll buy a coupon, and then we can buy this whole shop, which is great. Explosion size is really nice for this character. We're very happy to get the plastic explosive. Explosion damage, we don't care as much about, because we buy damage modifiers at half rate, so dynamite we'll probably buy, But the explosion size is really good for our level 4 turrets. Go ahead and buy both of these things, and then we'll go to wave 9 here. Now, I'm a little worried about wave 9. I don't have great clear speed, and wave 9 also has summoners, which are, again, the scariest thing for this character by far. We're hoping that the summoners mostly die in range of our turrets, and then the summons themselves run through the turrets. That's how we'll most easily be able to survive. I'm going to try to push the loot alien there through our turret field. Have to run around the side here. I keep wanting to run after the trees, but I need to trust my loot worm. Although I didn't do that there, but I wanted it to pick up materials in the center of the map. And we made decent money this wave. We'll take the spyglass, we'll take penguin, that's great. I'm going to take 3 regeneration, because I've got to get some defensive stats going. I'm going to pick up some more max HP, it'll make it easier to survive. We'll buy plastic explosive, we'll buy pile of books. Scared sausage can sometimes be interesting for this character, and I think I will pick one up. We're not going to build around this, but it's basically adding... It's like buying 1 engineering, because it sort of adds 1 damage to all of my turret attacks. It's a little worse than that in practice, but you can kind of think of it the same way. And it might have some synergy later on, which we might be interested in. We'll take the gentle alien here, keep rolling. I'll pick up Scar or Fertilizer. I want both. Which do I want first? I guess I'll take the Fertilizer first, and then we'll lock Adrenaline and Scar. We do want to build Dodge, so Adrenaline we're pretty happy with. Now, I haven't found any more wrench levels, which is concerning me a little bit. Since I've started building Curse by accident, but since we have gotten Curse, we can build more. Another thing about the engineer is that sometimes you get spawns like this, where your structures are on the edge of the map and force you to run to the edge. And here it's fine, but if it had spawned, if this field had spawned where our projectiles were coming from, where the environmental projectiles were coming from, that would make this wave incredibly difficult. So you can sometimes just randomly have really challenging waves because of that. I'm going to roll a few times, and I was really hoping to find a good level 2 or higher level up. I'll take the luck here. We'll pick up 9 dodge, because I'm now going to be over 30 dodge, which is pretty good. We'll buy Scar and Adrenaline. Increasing enemy move speed on wave 11 is pretty dangerous, but I really want the regeneration, and the move speed for us is pretty good. I think we can get away with the Scarf here. Ugly Tooth I will buy, that'll help against elites, and because I've been struggling so much to find weapons, I'm gonna take a level 3 screwdriver, and then we'll buy all of these. Since I'm buying this whole shop, we're gonna lock the lens, and we can ban it for a free reroll as well. So, enhanced speed on the enhanced spitters, obviously really scary. So wave 11, kind of a rough wave to buy Scarf on, but I didn't feel like we could pass it. I need to run over here and grab that heal. I need to stay near full health as much as possible. Try to run the spitters through my turret field. Taking note that there are heals basically in all the diagonal directions right now. Nice, we got a lucky dodge there, 30% dodge. And again, running that through our turrets, but you can see the enhanced spitters are so dangerous, they do so much damage. And there we go. We survived. A laser turret, incredible find. That's exactly what we're hoping for. Also, +9 dodge, I'm really happy about. I'm going to buy all of these things. Get an incendiary turret before the boss wave. Getting one of those before the boss wave is really good. I will take the... I want these structures. So what do I want to combine? I think I will go ahead and combine to a tier 4, and we'll go with 2 incendiary turrets, and then we'll buy the book, lock a blood leech, because I want as much regeneration as I can get, and then we'll lock these items as well. We're hoping for... This is actually one of the better elites, because we can just run it through our turrets over and over again, and the engineer usually struggles to kill elites, but with the crocodile, it's always going to follow us. And so we will have an easier time potentially taking it down. Now I need to get a bunch of heal here. That charger getting me was pretty brutal. Keeping the incendiary turret fire on it, and the cursed enemies are really putting a lot of pressure on me because our turrets have such a hard time taking them down. But I need to constantly be moving back and forth with the crocodile boss there, and we got rid of it. I was expecting to kill it faster, honestly, but we haven't actually gotten a ton of engineering in this run, which is fine. You don't need to build that much engineering with engineering builds. I'm definitely not taking the hourglass. Trying to do that fight at 1 HP would be way too foolish. We'll pick up 15% attack speed here, and then we'll buy all of these items and roll. I'll go to a level 4 screwdriver, and we will buy the dynamite at this point. I will also take cauldron and saltwater, and then I will reroll for 10, and we'll pick up the black belt as well. We want to level to a level 4 screwdriver, because screwdrivers you typically just want to... If you actually care about the landmines, which this character does, and aren't just using them for weapon attacks, you want to level them unevenly. You want to get them to level 4 as quickly as possible. So I'd rather have a level 4 than 2 level 3s. More mines, and that still leaves me with more turrets, which are, again, are useful to protect ourselves. One thing we don't have yet is any form of piercing shots, and that would be a really big deal, especially because we have a Horde wave upcoming. And with our explosive turrets, piercing shots are really important. They do a lot of additional damage, especially because we have increased explosion size. So you can see that the movement in this run is pretty hard, especially in like the last elite fight. And again, that's why people are struggling with it. We'll take the mirror. I forget what we have locked in the shop, but it's got to be something good. Here, I do want more engineering. I wouldn't mind 12 move speed, but I think I just need to buy regeneration. We've got to get our defensive stats going. Oh, right. I forgot we had all unique items in the shop, but we'll mirror a black belt. That's fine. And then we'll buy everything here, do a reroll, buy a book. Sadly, we can't buy ritual, but we'll take another plastic explosive for sure. All right, so here's one of the waves that I was really worried about, wave 14, because as you can see, it's very, very hard for us not to have a lot of summons on the field. And these little goobers running around, if you get too many of them at once, we're going to have pure chaos in terms of having to dodge these attacks. Now, this wave, basically what we're going to do is we're going to stay in our turret field, and we're going to make as minimal movement as possible, and that way we won't have to spend as much effort dodging the projectiles. I think people on this wave will tend to get carried away and start trying to charge after the goobers to clear them, but instead you just have to focus on dodging. Taking a few extra hits here, and 1 second remaining. We survived. Obviously a really tough wave. I'm going to just recycle the piggy bank. I just want the money. And we'll take the reinforced steel. We'll take boxing glove. Yeah, weapon cooldown doesn't matter at all for us, so ball and chain is actually incredible. I'm going to roll here. I could take 4 regen, but I'm looking for dodge or armor. and we'll keep rolling until we find it. I'll pick up 9 dodge here. Once we get to 60 dodge, that gives us a pretty significant increase to our survivability, so we're very much looking to do that. Mammoth is an incredible find. The melee damage will actually matter to our wrenches. It's going to mean that our wrenches actually do enough, but mostly 5 regen in 1 item is really powerful. Do I want to combine here and pick up a screwdriver going into the Horde wave? I don't think so. I'm going to roll, and then we'll buy a laser turret and then lock these items. Actually, do I want the screwdriver? I think not. We're going to just go to the Horde wave. Now, wave 15 is another wave where we have a lot of chaos, and with the enhanced eggs, that's made even more dangerous because those enemies, the enhanced slashers, are going to take so long for our structures to kill, and they do so much damage and put so much pressure on our movement in the meantime. And given that this is a Horde wave, that's even worse. I am happy that our structures spawn where they did. Being on the edge here is really nice for the Horde. And it means that we only have to watch for projectiles coming from one direction at a time. So what I'm focusing on here is standing as still as I can and just making very minimal movements to dodge projectiles that are coming right at me. And that gives you the easiest way to avoid taking hits, typically. We are going to do a quick run here and try to pick up some materials. Our loot worm was kind of working overtime. Cyberball is pretty bad in nightmare mode, and we don't have enough luck. We're not building % damage. I'll just take the money here. I think that matters more. And then we're at 60 dodge. That's great. We'll take some engineering. Pocket Factory, an incredible find. We'll buy the Mammoth over the Warrior Helmet. And we'll roll here. Do I want the defective steroids? I don't think we need the max HP that badly. Let's re-roll. Alright, so here we get Bandana, which is awesome. Giving us piercing shots is incredible. I have a lot of laser turrets already. I think I'm going to go for a 3rd incendiary turret. This isn't ideal, but... oh, and I'll take the snake too, because that works with our incendiary turrets. But since we have a bunch of laser turret items, we still have good defenses, and ideally our incendiary turrets wouldn't have all spawned in the same spot. You know, if one had spawned here, like if this turret and this turret were swapped, then it would still have given us more coverage, but as is, I'm not that worried about wave 16. The buffing aliens are pretty scary, but because of the way turrets work, we don't have to worry about the enhanced flies, because they don't spawn projectiles. I think the bottom mine shots will. I'm not 100% sure about that, but either way, we won't have to dodge that much. I know Catling gun shots do, but I can't remember if bottom mine shots do or not. It's looking like they do, because we have had a few projectiles spawn, and that's the only thing that isn't a turret that shoots projectiles. I'm gonna pass on here. Again, we probably would just buy it, though we don't really need the HP. We get damage at half rate, so this is a spot where not is not as clear-cut an advantage. And then I'm gonna roll here. I'll roll again. I'm mostly looking for armor, but I guess I'll just take 6 max HP. Here we'll take armor. We'll buy all of these items. Bonk Dog we can just ban. That's fine to get rid of. We'll pick up another plastic explosive. Triple plastic explosive is pretty incredible, given how we are partially at least an explosion-based character. Whistle this late I'm going to pass on. I don't really need the cursed charcoal for anything, so let's roll here. We'll go ahead and keep upgrading our weapons, buy a level 1 wrench, buy a book. Wandering Bot's actually not horrible for the engineer, but I still don't think you should buy it at full price. Lucky Charm. It's a little late, but I still think it is worth picking that up. Alright, wave 17 again has summoners. So that will again be a challenge. Now that I have piercing shots, we're in significantly better shape in terms of killing the summons, because we have piercing shots and we have pocket factory. So we actually have more relevant damage around the map. And because our loot worm is going to go clear trees, those trees will turn into turrets, which will themselves clear more trees as they spawn. So we have a lot more reach now. Double loot alien this wave as well, without even a lure, and we passed on the whistle, so that's pretty nice. You don't want to stand right in your turrets, because you want enemies to be able to spawn in the turret field, if possible. We'll take Kraken's Eye, this is great. Obviously, the damage is pretty bad, but 15 max HP is fine, and Curse at this point, not a problem. I'll take the Bat as well. Lifesteal is, of course, not super relevant for us, but still useful. I need to fix my move speed, so I'm going to spend the plus 12 move speed there. We'll buy Lucky Charm. We don't need more max HP, so we're passing on Spicy Sauce. Passing on Stone Skin as well for the same reason, but we will take a Blood Leech, and we'll roll. Buy a Duct Tape. Lock a Garden. If we'd gotten Will-O-Wisp really early, we could have potentially considered doing something with this, but generally, I still think that this is not great. You buy it at half, or you get the elemental damage at half price, at half value. So even though we have a Scared Sausage, it would be pretty slow to get enough elemental damage that it actually matters. We're going to lock a Wrench here and then go to wave 18. Alright, this is both a difficult wave because of all of the buffed units that we have to face, so that's going to be a lot of dodging around really fast, really high damaging stuff. And an especially difficult wave because it's an elite wave, and we rolled one of the harder elites for the character. This is not one of the ones that follows us, so we almost certainly will not be able to kill it. And things like these buffed enhanced slashers are extremely challenging for projectile builds to deal with. Now, once it gets to stage 2, it does start following us. So we might be able to take it down at this point. I just need to work my way around in a circle here, grabbing a couple consumable heals, and then we'll grab these as well. But all of the projectiles that we have to dodge are making this pretty challenging. So I'm glad we got a lot of tank stats. We weren't able to kill the elite, but that's fine. We survived. Wheat, I'm going to just recycle here. Boiling water, same. I'll take 3 more regen. Buy the Wrench and the Garden. I do want a little more move speed. We'll take another Clockwork Wasp. Incredible. We'll buy a coffee and then roll. Lock a laser turret. Now, Strange Book, if I had bought the Will-O-Wisp early, that is a real combo, but you can't count on getting that. I will take the Reinforced Steel because it's cursed, and then we'll go to wave 19. So because we got Kraken's Eye, we did end up with at least one useful cursed item. I want to get a second explosive turret as well, because we have so much explosion size. Though, that would have been more useful not on the boss wave. The boss wave is going to be not particularly impacted by explosive turrets, because again, we're not going to be able to kill the bosses, almost certainly. Now, having found a few Clockwork Wasps, that's the best way to increase your damage on engineering builds, is finding increased structure attack speed. Left a lot of materials on the ground, but that's okay. I don't need a second Scared Sausage. One will be enough to keep things permanently on fire, so it won't increase our damage. I'm going to roll here. I'm looking for some defensive stats. I have 60 dodge. I guess I'll take 3 regen. I'll roll again, and we'll take 3 more regeneration. 30 plus regen is a lot more valuable. We'll take a laser turret here. I will pass on the feather. We have max dodge already. We can go ahead and combine and buy an incendiary turret, which is pretty nice. And I will get a second one, and then I'll roll. I could take metal detector for 2 engineering, well, 2.5 engineering, and some luck. I guess that's going to help more than the average reroll would have. The weird food I would have been thrilled by. And then we're going to go to wave 20. Alright, so we're going to have to see if we can clear the bosses. We do have, of course, clustered damage against them. And so during the stages where they just follow us, we're actually able to keep pretty good DPS on them. So I wasn't expecting to be able to kill the bosses, but given that we got them this low by 30 seconds in, I think we probably will. And part of that is because we have this one screwdriver. I need to have that boss die, ideally. I'm going to back off and pick up some consumable heal. I want one of them to die so we can get a full heal, and then we can keep hitting the other one. And there we go. So some pretty challenging movement in that run, but we made it through. Looking at our items here, we had 160,000 damage from landmines. That's pretty nice. Loot Worm gave us 230 materials. Our turrets and Pocket Factory gave us 130,000 damage. 50k from the bottom mine. We saved 300 from Coupon. Double Spyglass was pretty nice. It let us roll for structures more aggressively. And the Scared Sausage dealt 20,000 damage. So when we got it, I think it was worth picking up. Adrenaline only healed us for 31, which is funny. I felt like we were low and got dodges more often than that. So, I guess not. Our laser turrets were the star of the show, though. Over 200,000 damage on those. And we had Ball and Chain was pretty important. We ended with, how much knockback did we have? 25 knockback. So that was pretty helpful for keeping us alive, just because we got offered a lot of knockback here. The extra melee damage on the Mammoth was fairly helpful. Just plus 10 gave us a little more DPS to kill the bosses a little faster, so that was pretty good. And Bandana is very powerful. Once you get piercing shots, it basically doubles the damage of all your explosive turrets. Clockwork Wasp. Oh, we only had one. I thought we had two. Obviously, if we had two, that would have been a lot better, but that still increased our damage output by a lot. Structure attack speed is the most important stat when you're playing an engineering build. It's what governs you, just like attack speed governs how fast you kill bosses with normal weapons. Structure attack speed governs how fast you kill pretty much everything with structures. So this is the stat you're prioritizing above anything else, even though there's only 2 items in the game that provide it. Alright, my friends, I hope that gives you some idea of how to win with the Engineer. Obviously, this is still a difficult run. We still had to do some pretty precise movement in the mid-game, but basically what you need to do is hold very still on wave 14 and 15, and just make micro adjustments in order to avoid the incoming projectiles. I do think that going with mostly turrets helps, because it can kill the slashers, which would otherwise force you to move potentially into projectiles. Also, obviously, if you're not playing on full projectile mode, the environmental projectiles are a lot of the pressure that you face. So if you aren't playing on that, it might be worthwhile re-rolling until you have a pattern where you have no projectiles on wave 14 and 15, since those are the most dangerous waves for this character. Alright, my friends, hope you enjoyed this run with the Engineer on Crash Zone, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.